breaking news for you.
Good morning, Notre Dame.
You're going to want a rain jacket.
Notre Dame men's basketball
coming out of the East region. And
can you get me a gym time?
Not only that, it was a shutout, of course.
For NDTV, I'm Abby Urban.
Good morning, Notre Dame. Welcome to ND Sunrise. I'm Lyric Medeiros.
And I'm Abby Urban. We are so happy to be back together at the desk to give you all the latest.
Yes, it's been a week, but we're back ready to give you all the news. We have some breaking news this morning on COVID vaccinations in Indiana. Beginning on March 31st, anyone 16 and older in Indiana can get vaccinated. Let's take a look at the clip.
Earlier today, our federal partners told states to expect large increases in the amount of vaccine that will be flowing to us beginning the last week in March. So on Wednesday, March 31st, we'll plan to open up vaccine eligibility to all Hoosiers, 16 years and older.
As for masks, the mask mandate ends on April 6th. Let's take a look at a video of the governor of Indiana addressing COVID restrictions.
On April 6th, the face covering mandate will become a state mask advisory.
However, this does not mean that campus protocols no longer apply. We still need to adhere to campus policies on COVID-19. We will be working to provide you with the latest information on COVID-19 restrictions here on campus and vaccinations. Stay tuned.
Moving to our COVID dashboard, yesterday 20 new cases were reported, adding to the semester total of 1,174. Let's remember to adhere to campus protocols in order to keep ourselves and the rest of our community safe. Please wash your hands, wear your mask, and remain socially distant when possible.
Regarding the Easter weekend, to allow the COVID-19 response unit team to enjoy some well-deserved time with their families, students with Friday, Saturday, or Sunday surveillance testing dates over the Easter weekend will be rescheduled. You will receive a reminder the day before your appointment, but to find what time your test has been moved to, you can check your email inbox for the most recent email from the Division of Student Affairs. The university will continue to offer diagnostic and quarantine/isolation testing on Saturday, April 3rd on an abbreviated schedule. No testing will be offered on Friday, April 2nd or Sunday, April 4th. That's nice that everyone will have an Easter break.
Agreed.
Although it's only one day, I'm sure it will be well spent. The staff at the CRU have been working so hard to keep us safe. Let's do our part in giving them the break they deserve by making sure we show up for our rescheduled surveillance testing times.
For an update on the COVID-19 vaccine here on campus, Notre Dame is currently working to document COVID-19 vaccination completion within our campus community. Although most students have not yet received the vaccine due to state eligibility requirements, if you have received either the second dose of the Moderna or Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine or a single dose of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine, please upload your vaccination documentation to your University Health Services patient portal. Additional guidance for fully vaccinated students is available at this link. If you have any questions, please contact the COVID-19 hotline at 574-634-HERE or 4373 or COVID Response Unit at nd.edu.
McWell has been working extremely hard to provide activities for students to maintain their health and well-being this semester. Over the break, students were asked to participate in a survey regarding their physical and mental states. Jess gives us more on the results of the survey and some highlights. Jess?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jess Meyers, and for this segment of ND Sunrise, I will be covering the 2021 Winter Survey released by the McDonald Student Center for Wellbeing. This survey performs ongoing data collection to uncover the most pressing health and well-being needs of the Notre Dame student body. Following the analysis of over 2,200 responses from the student body, McWell's data suggests 89% of the students say that rest and well-being is a priority. Approximately 90% of the students express some level of concern about their emotional well-being. Students who considered rest and activities that promote well-being as a high or essential priority are more likely to have zero or low distress. Compared to the fall 2019 survey, student concerns about social isolation continue to steadily increase. Let's turn to the students to hear their opinions on the overall well-being for this semester.
Noah Mudapalil, senior. I think I have been able to manage my time better. I do have a lot more free time being a second semester senior. However, I do find myself not using that free time as well as I would like. But it's been a good semester so far. So yes, I'd say I can manage my time a lot better than before.
My name is Gabe Ozaki. I'm a sophomore here at the University of Notre Dame. I would say that probably like the main way that my friends and I have adjusted to like still getting to spend time together with the university restrictions is just like hanging out outside. I live on North Quad, so there's always like activity going on around there, or just in any like common spaces like Duncan Student Center. There's a lot of places where as long as you're masked, you can still hang out with people, and I think that's the best way to like meet people outside of dorms and stuff like that. So yeah, anywhere outside or just not in a dorm.
And with that, this is Jess Meyers with ND Sunrise signing off.
Thank you, Jess. Glad to see that the numbers have improved from last semester. Let's remember to listen to our bodies, take breaks when we need them, and find ways that work best for us in maintaining our well-being.
I couldn't have said it any better. It really is so important to take those breaks when you need them. And one of the ways you can do this is by participating in the events that the Student Activities Office organize. As always, you can find these events and more at here.nd.edu/studentlife.
And kicking it off with cookies and canvas.
Ooh.
Celebrate the arrival of spring by creating a beautiful painting of the Golden Dome. Choose a location to join the Student Activities Office for an evening of fun and end your night with delicious insomnia cookies. This event will take place tonight from 9 to 11 p.m. in the Legend/La Fortune Ballroom. But space is limited, so be sure to reserve your seat using the link found in the most recent email from the Division of Student Affairs.
You had me at insomnia cookies. Those are my favorite. Being from Hawaii, we don't have insomnia cookies there, so if there's an event here that has insomnia cookies, I'm there.
Oh my goodness, me too. I love getting that with my friends, and lucky enough that they're back home for me too. There's
That's
some
nice.
in downtown Milwaukee, so I've definitely stopped by with a few of my friends before. And if you would like to listen to some music while you eat your cookies, head on down to South Lawn tonight at 9 to see some talented students perform. Acoustic Cafe never disappoints.
That's right. And if you're looking for a more athletic activity, Rec Sports has opened up to 2 more Pilates offerings for this semester. In-person fitness classes resumed on March 10th, so there are a ton of different options to choose from. Visit recsports.nd.edu to find out more and reserve your spot. We're lucky to have so many in-person options this semester. I myself am a big fan of the exercise classes. Last year I took Zumba and some dance classes at Rec Sports. It was so much fun and it didn't even feel like a workout.
Absolutely. I know I felt the same way. I know my roommate, sometimes she has to drag me to these things. So she dragged me to a Zumba class and I really had the time of my life. It was amazing.
It's worth it. It really is. We'll have to sign up for one together.
Definitely.
Taking us right back to the subject of food. Have you checked out the food trucks the past few Saturdays? This week will be no different, with the trucks being stationed around North Quad, Fieldhouse Mall, and South Quad from 9 to 11 p.m. this Saturday. Stop by to find a variety of delicious meals and snacks.
Okay, now you are just making me hungry. So I think that means it's time to move on to our next segment. Remember, you can always find more about everything happening on campus by checking the Week at ND Digest email we receive every Sunday.
Although we're certainly enjoying the warm weather, it seems like some of our days have been filled with a little bit more rain. We've all heard the saying that April showers bring May flowers, but let's hope we're not quite there yet. Anthony has an update on the weather and hopefully predicts some sunny skies. Anthony.
Thanks, Lyric and Abby. And I got one question for you. Are you a risk taker? Do you like to be bold? Do you want to put your wardrobe decisions in the hands of this hat today? In this hat, I have random slips of paper. There's a 50% chance of rain, so we're going to find out. Will it be rain? Will it be sun? Let me look away, reach into the hat, pull one of these out. All right, this is our weather for today. No need for the hat anymore. And looks like there's going to be rain today, so we don't need this chair anymore. Let's look at today at a glance. Early in the day, we got the permacloud. Rain's not going to pick up till a little later. We get to about midday, and that's when the 30% chance of rain sets in. And then later tonight, this is no longer 50% chance because the hat predicted rain, so we're going to get rain. 100% chance of rain today. Better bring your umbrella, better bring your rain jacket. But what about the next days of the week? Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast. So I hope you want to be depressed because we have clouds all week. The only day that is Sunday is, they tell me in the back this day is a Monday. But I can't really see it because I have vision problems, so we'll just roll with it. They're telling me in the back this is Monday. Monday will be a Sunday. But after that, of course, well, and it's Monday. Who likes Monday? Then we have clouds after. So we have clouds before, clouds after, and the only day that has sun is Monday. Shouldn't sun be on Sunday? It makes no sense. So we have rain today, we have clouds all week, and that's your weather forecast. Thank you very much. Back to the desk.
Thank you, Anthony. Make sure to keep your umbrellas on hand this week because you never know what's coming. I certainly always forget.
Me too. Moving on to some sports, Elise gives us an update on some of our teams here at Notre Dame. Let's take a look at what's happening here with Irish sports. Elise.
Good morning, Notre Dame. My name is Elise Dohoney. Here's your weekly sports update. Let's start off with women's tennis. Unfortunately, the Notre Dame women's tennis team fell to Miami and number 6 Florida State in 2 ACC road matches on Friday and Sunday afternoons. This means the Irish moved to 9-9 on the year, including 3-7 in ACC play. However, one bad weekend cannot hold the Irish down. The women's tennis team will return home to the Eck Tennis Pavilion for a 3-game homestand to close out the regular season against Louisville on April 3rd at 1 p.m. If you are a Notre Dame student with a valid student ID and a free afternoon, head over to the Eck Tennis Pavilion to support our team. Now, let's move on to baseball. I know I saw a number of students cheering on the Irish this past weekend as they took on the Duke Blue Devils in the Frank Eck Stadium. I think one of my friends even brought her dog to the game. Anyways, the 15th ranked Notre Dame baseball team kept its winning ways going with a 6-2 victory on Saturday. With the win, Notre Dame has won its 7th game in a row and its 4th straight series to start the season. The star of the game was pitcher John Michael Bertrand, who I believe I also mentioned last week's highlight reel. Bertrand allowed just 2 runs and 5 hits while striking out 6 batters to collect his 3rd win of the season on Saturday. Head coach Link Jarrett said Bertrand has been awesome at every phase of his game. From his plays in the field to the pickoff to end the game, he is so prideful in how hard he works, and it shows. Everyone on campus seems to be so excited to see the baseball team excel this season. Even Barstool Irish made sure to tweet, "People sleep on the fact that our baseball team is fire. Go Irish!" And of course, it would be a mistake not to talk about the always dominant women's lacrosse team. This past Sunday, the 4th-ranked Irish beat number 19-ranked Louisville 15-10. Samantha Lynch collected 6 points, Casey Choma netted 4 goals, and Andy Aldave notched 11 draw controls. Absolutely lethal. Coming up, the lacrosse team will head to Duke to take on the Blue Devils on March 28th at 1 p.m. Make sure to tune in into the live stream via ACC Network Extra. And that's all for this week's update. For all things Irish sports, including post-game articles, highlight clips, and rosters, make sure and more schedules, everything. Make sure to check out UND.com. And of course, I'm here every week to give you the updates. For ND Sunrise, I'm Elise Dohoney. Go Irish!
Thank you, Elise. You know, Lyric and I were just saying we need to go to a baseball game sometime.
Yes, we do. We haven't seen one yet, so it'd be nice to support our Notre Dame baseball team.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. We always appreciate your thorough and thoughtful updates, Elise, on the athletic department here at Notre Dame.
And keeping with sports, Kieran is here adding to his March Madness series. Today he will be giving us a recap on the first weekend of the tournament. Kieran, take it away.
With the first weekend of the 2021 NCAA men's basketball tournament in the books, let's take a look at some of the madness that tore through the bracket. We saw a few title contenders go down in shocking fashion on the first couple days of the tourney. Ohio State could not slow down a sneaky Oral Roberts offense as the 15th-seeded Golden Eagles defeated the 2nd-seeded Buckeyes and Florida shortly after to reach its program's first Sweet 16 since 1950. 14-seed Abilene Christian pulled off its own miracle against the Big 12 champions in 3-seed Texas, hitting critical free throws down the stretch to send the Longhorns packing. Unlike Oral Roberts, the Wildcats of ACU were unable to win their next game against 11th-seeded UCLA, ending their exciting Cinderella run after 1 game. Continuing our theme of upsets, the Ramblers out of Loyola Chicago dominated their in-state rival Illinois in the second round. Illinois' title aspirations were cut short due to an impressive performance from do-it-all big man Cameron Krutwig. Along with Oral Roberts and UCLA, 12-seed Oregon State and 11-seed Syracuse are the other double-digit seeds to make the Sweet 16. The Pac-12 has had quite the start to March Madness, with 4 of its 5 tournament teams advancing to the second weekend. That list is comprised of USC, Oregon, UCLA, and Oregon State, with Colorado being the only Pac-12 team to lose. On the other hand, The supposed best conference during the regular season, the Big Ten, has struggled mightily, with 1 seed Michigan being the lone representative still alive in the tournament from that league. Over this upcoming weekend, we will look to see if Gonzaga and Baylor can continue their dominant starts to the tournament, and when the dust is settled on Tuesday night, we will have our Final Four teams locked in. I can't wait to see what the end of March has to offer. I'm Kieran Cantwell, signing off. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Kieran. Best of luck to all of the remaining teams, and I hope everyone's brackets are doing well. Hopefully we convince you to submit them to the rec sports competition. And everyone knows Father Pete, Director of Campus Ministry.
Yes.
A few days ago, I had the pleasure of sitting down with him for an exclusive interview. We had a chance to talk about his role on campus, spirituality for students, and his advice for continuing to practice faith after college. I hope you enjoy it. Hello everyone, my name is Abby Urban, and today I have the honor and privilege of interviewing Father Pete. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks for having me, Abby. It's really exciting.
Oh, fantastic. We are so happy to have you and to start doing this interview series with NDTV. So just starting right off, Father Pete, we all know you from the videos at the football games. We see you around campus, giving all-school mass with the basketball team. But could you tell us a little bit more about what your roles are here at Notre Dame and kind of what a typical day would look like for you?
Yes. The fun part about this, Abby, is that my principal responsibilities, I serve as the Director of Campus Ministry. And as the Director of Campus Ministry, it really is my responsibility to think about faith on campus. But let's be really clear. I don't do this by myself. I've got a big team and a variety of folks who are helping me along the way. And so what does it mean to think about faith? The whole objective here really is it's kind of like try to meet students exactly where they find themselves. But interestingly enough, campus ministry isn't just focused on students, although that's the primary area. We also have folks who are working with our staff and also our faculty to be able to help allow for Notre Dame to be a place where faith is explored, from the very beginning to perhaps someone who says, you know what, I want to make a career of this place.
Right.
And that's the goal. So really, for me then, what does my day look like? What I love most about my day is that each day is a little bit unique and different. And so on one hand, I might be chatting with you. On another, I might be going to hear confessions at the Basilica. On another, I might be celebrating Mass with the basketball team, which is one of my roles as chaplain. So it really is someone like me who enjoys having a little variety in his day-to-day existence. This is certainly that. Every day I kind of wake up and I'm like, well, let's just kind of see where it takes me.
I love that. That's fantastic. All that different variety. So out of all that variety,
Yep.
Do you have a particular experience, it could be faith-related or not faith-related, that has been your favorite time here at Notre Dame?
Yeah, there are so many, Abby, on this. The principal area that I think I've most benefited from, and I want to be really clear about this, because I could get into the particulars of the cool things that I've been able to do, and there have been many. But really, genuinely, it's kind of getting to know students throughout the course of year over year. I've had the benefit of being on campus in a variety of roles since '06, which is crazy for me to think about, which also means that I'm getting really old. But anyways, the point is like each year, meeting new students who arrive, getting to know students more deeply that have returned, and then now seeing students who come back as alums. It's just awesome, and I genuinely love it. So, I could talk about being on the court for the 2015 ACC Championship.
Amazing, so
I could
cool.
talk about these different moments. I got to introduce one of the bands from last year, Felix Urbito, and lead a prayer, and then and be a part of that over at Legends, which was just awesome. But really, genuinely, it all starts with relationships and getting to know students, and that to me is why I continue to enjoy and love being a priest here at Notre Dame, and it really does mean a whole heck of a lot to me.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I feel like that community aspect and your role in building that is so integral to this community here at Notre Dame. So that's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love that. So then moving into a little bit more for all of our students watching. So I wanted to ask you how you think students who are really busy, especially in this time when we know everybody has midterms and everybody is really busy, can find little ways to incorporate faith into their lives, maybe even for students who aren't super faith oriented.
Yeah, I think that it starts with two kind of dispositions in my mind. The first is that we all have time. The simple fact is that, even taking a moment to step back, even if it's 5 minutes, right? We all can find that in our schedule. And then the second point I think is important to note here is that all of us benefit from being able to recognize that our own world is not the total embodiment of the broader reality that we face. And I think sometimes we can get caught up in, I've got this exam, or this relationship isn't going well, or I feel this particular pressure. And the scary thing about that is that the world gets really, really, really small. And so the benefit of faith, in my estimation, is by its very definition, it asks of us to think about a world that's outside of our own. So taking a minute to step back and knowing that we can, right? And then second, knowing that it actually benefits us as human beings to be able to think about the needs of others, to think about the world. And so then that, in my mind, is where faith comes in, right? Because faith ultimately, in many ways, invites us to think about elements that are fundamentally human. So whether this be hope, trust, forgiveness, these are themes that are so very important for us on a day-to-day basis to reflect upon. And this is where faith is rich with themes that remind us that all of these values are so very important. So in my mind, yes, I'm not denying or refuting the fact that folks are busy. But I would say we have to be careful about what we get busy about. And if it's causing our world to get smaller and smaller and smaller, maybe it's an opportunity for us to say, hey, you know what? Maybe I need to step back. And not only maybe, but I should. And I have the time to do so, even if it's 5 to 10 minutes. And then what do I want to fill that time with? Is it Instagram? Is it some social media? Or is it, maybe I should spend time thinking a little bit about some of these deeper values of truth, of love, of forgiveness. I would like to propose, at least, that practice has a way of kind of carrying over in our day-to-day life in real meaningful ways.
Oh, absolutely. I think that that's a really good point. I know people talk about getting so focused on being here at Notre Dame and our lives and our every little thing. And I think that that's so important for everybody to realize that there is so much more. And I agree. I've been trying this Lent to be a little bit more focused on setting aside time for prayer. And I've noticed that having a really great impact on my life.
That's awesome.
But thank you. So extending that a little bit further, are there any ways that you would recommend for students to get involved with faith, maybe in a little bit more than those 5 or 10 minute personal reflections, maybe a little bit more with the community here at Notre Dame?
Yeah, you know what? We're coming up on a great time of year with Easter and with the Triduum. There are moments of prayer at the Basilica. You could always stop by the grotto. There are masses. There's opportunities to have your confession heard. The Stations of the Cross are really beautiful. I would also, if folks say, you know what, I really just love being outdoors, like, here's the challenge. The next time you pass by the lakes and it's getting to that golden hour in the evening where the sun's coming down, instead of just passing by, what would it look like to actually stop and thank God for the gift of that sunset? I think if we can cultivate ways, either formal, meaning officially like in the church and going to Mass and having confession heard, or stopping by the Basilica or the grotto for a formal prayer, what does it also look like to cultivate habits where we begin to be grateful for the gifts that we receive, whether that be time that we spend with a friend or a beautiful sunset or the opportunity to study. I think that these are all gifts, and so whether that be formal or whether that be a little bit more casual, there's really great opportunities. God is constantly at work and God's constantly at play, and if we can believe that and lean into that a little bit, there's something pretty cool about that.
Oh, I love that. That is fantastic, because it's like you don't have to, you can just appreciate your everyday experiences a little bit more and maybe not even have to add so much into that.
That's exactly right.
I love that. That's wonderful. So then, of course, we're talking a lot about faith, but what about people who maybe are involved in their faith here at Notre Dame, who are taking advantage of these wonderful opportunities that we do have on campus and want to know how to extend that past college when maybe we're not in such an uber Catholic environment? What would be your suggestions? Yeah,
you know what? I think that I'm a big believer that practice and habit lead to value. What do I mean by this? The more we practice something, the more we begin to see its value and its merit. But we as human beings also, interestingly enough, have a way to rationalize our way out of sometimes things that are worthwhile. So let me give you an example. It is beneficial to study for that big exam. But it's like, do I really need to? Or maybe I can just cram a little bit. Or maybe I know I want to run that 10K, but I don't want to spend as much time doing it. And as a result, maybe I can just half the time that it would take to do the 10K. The point is that yes, there are moments in which we can try to rationalize our way out of these things of value and say to ourselves, you know what, I'll get to faith when I'm an adult, when I'm outside of Notre Dame. But I would say to you, here is the perfect place to practice. You know, begin to take ownership of your faith in meaningful ways. Begin to develop those habits that lead to values. And from those values, I think they typically carry you over even when you get to an environment that may be completely unfamiliar. Right. Newsflash, not every church is going to be have Mass at 10 p.m. at night with a homily targeted towards 18 to 22-year-olds. That's not going to occur.
Yes.
However, if you begin to cultivate a real love for the community, for the Eucharist, for spending time meditating upon these values that we were talking about earlier, I think there's something really cool about that. And again, this is where Notre Dame can cultivate these habits so that we can live into these values later.
Fantastic. Again, I totally agree with that. I think that this is the perfect place, and we do have all of these opportunities. Right. And yeah, I hope, especially in my own faith life, to continue it and build upon all the wonderful things here. Like getting to hear you at Mass, like this past weekend, that was great at the Basilica. That's wonderful. And it is nice to have homilies that are, that are specific to us here, but I think that gives us appreciation for more homilies in other places as we go forward, different churches as well. Amazing. Well, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to ask you about today. So thank you so much, Father Pete, for being here and for giving us a little bit of a look into your role here at Notre Dame, a little bit more specifically, and for helping us to learn how to cultivate our faith here. So thank you again so much. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Abby.
Thank you.
Wow, what a great interview. Father Pete is so wonderful. He really cares about the students here at Notre Dame and does all that he can to make it feel like home for us. Thank you for all that you do, Father Pete.
Absolutely, I echo that. And it was such a pleasure to interview him. He really is wonderful.
I bet it was a pleasure. And that brings us to the end of today's morning news. If you would like to stay updated on everything we're doing here at NDTV, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Notre Dame Television, on Twitter at Notre Dame TV, and on YouTube under NDTV Notre Dame Television.
Our YouTube channel has all of our episodes under ND Sunrise, so if you miss an episode or just can't bear a few days without us, you can find them all there.
As for our airing times, we are here on Channel 57 every Tuesday and Thursday morning. That's it for this episode of ND Sunrise. I'm Lyric Medeiros.
And I'm Abby Urban.
From all of us here in the studio, we wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you, and go Irish.